Lesson 7-4, Using Percent Equations. Percent equation is an equivalent form of the percent proportion in which the percent is written as a decimal. So when we see percent, we typically see it written as part over whole. But when we are trying to solve for the part, then it is actually written as percent times whole gives me the part. And you're going to see some examples of this throughout the video. So let's look at this example where we're finding the part of something. This says 62% of 75. When we hear the word of, we want to think of multiply. So this means 62%, which you want to turn into a decimal. So 62% of 75. So now you could use a calculator and you could multiply 0.62 times 75, which is going to give you 46.5. Pause the video to try a few examples on your own. The first example is 60% of 96. You turn it into a decimal. You replace the of with multiplication. And so we have 0.60 times 96, and we would get 57.6. You change the 45% into 0.45. Of is multiplied by the 70. So 0.45 times 70 is going to be 31.5. Now we can find the percent. You want to set it up in the form of an equation. So using the words to replace it with operations or equal signs. So 287 is what, so is, and then what is your variable, percent of 410. So of 410. So then to solve, you divide both sides by 410. So if we get 287 and we divide by 10, or 410, sorry, you will end up with 0.7. But this is not how we write percents. This is the decimal form. So you move it two places, which means 287 is 70% of 410. Pause the video for a few examples. The first example is 15 is what percent of 125? Again, you divide both sides by 125, and you will get 0.12, but you want to change that into a decimal, which is 12%. The next example, it's 20 is what percent of 400? You divide both sides by 400, and you're going to get 0.05. So if you move that two places to turn it into a percent, you get 5%. The last part of this unit is finding the whole. So again, you want to translate what you have into equation form and solve. 33 is 55% of what number? And so to solve, you want to change the percent into a decimal. So it's going to be 0.55W, and then divide both sides by 0.55. So you actually end up with 33 divided by 0.55, and you get 60. This is actually going to be your number, so you don't have to change anything else. Pause the video to try a few examples. For the first example, you have 18 is 30% of what number? You change that 30 into a decimal, and so we have 18 equals 0.3 times W, You divide both sides by 0.3, and you're going to get W equals 60. And then you have 79 is 80% of what number? You change it into a decimal and divide by both sides. And so you get W is 98.75. Pause the video to complete the lesson review. Make sure you show me this lesson review for verification of watching this video.